Hello, I'm Zoe Currie. Welcome to my presentation on play in Primary 1. So I'm going to talk a little bit about getting the environment right for you and your setting, having a balance of play-based learning, teaching group time and together time as a class, taking the learning into their play, and some of the benefits of play in children's development. I work at Broomlands in Kelso in the Scottish Borders. We're lucky to have a new school. It's light, bright and spacious. We have a shared area for our Primary 1, Primary 1, 2 and Primary 2 classes. And round the corner is our ELC. Again, we can open that space and have it as another shared space between our early level. We're an open plan, which has many advantages and maybe some disadvantages for the upstairs classes who hear us chatting and laughing as we play. As the quote below says, when the children are playing and they're happy, they're engaged, there will be lots of giggling and noise. So I did a conference with Alistair Rice-Clegg back in November 2019, and this is what kick-started my play journey. So I'd just like to share lots of resources, lots of ideas that may help you to start your play journey or along the way with your play journey, and I hope it's useful in some way. So the next few slides show you what we as a team at Broomlands have set up on our play-based journey. I've included lots of photos to share with you and some of our resources. These are only suggestions, just whatever you can get. So you maybe have to buy them if there is any money, beg, borrow or acquire. Not steal, but acquire. So if you get your environment right, the children will be engaged, happy, settled and the learning will happen. And you'll be able to set up continuous provision for the children to play even when there's no adult. If you're with a teaching group and you've not got any other support, then the children can still use the continuous provision to support their play. And I've split our environment into 3 areas because we have an outdoor space, our indoor shared area and our classrooms. I would suggest as a starting point that you go and look at your ELC to see how they've set up their environment, as the transition should be continuous for the children. A similar setup, just with some more challenges or some different resources will support your play journey as well. Within all our areas, we have tried to provide rich literacy and numeracy environments. So this is our outdoor area, and in our outdoor area we have a playhouse, which is our role play area. We have big blocks, a small world area, a numeracy area, a water area, a music area, a doodle table and a coordination box. Now I have photos of most of these areas, but because these areas change, I haven't got photos of them all. So the 2 areas I haven't got photos of are the music area, which is just simply a box of percussion instruments. We've added inflatable instruments as well to this area, and we've got some pans hanging on the fence that they can use with the spoons. Also don't have a photograph of the coordination box, just to support their development of skills in PE. We've added some scoops and balls for them to throw and catch, and also some smaller balls as well that they can use, and we've just turned one of the fences round so they can use that as a kind of net and throw and catch over that. I've got photographs of all the other areas in the next few slides. So this is our construction area outside. We have a community play trolley of big blocks that we could do with a few more, so we'll add that to our wish list. We also have a smaller crate of blocks as well. The list is endless of the things that have been built out here. We've seen dens, houses, tunnels, bridges, Santa's sleigh, a concert stage and so much more. We have seen literacy skills, talking and listening, numeracy skills, shape, measure, pattern, number, gross motor skill, development in this area, and much more too, depending on what the children build and what those discussions then lead on to as well. So this is our outdoor water area. It's great having the water tree outside. If you have any spills, you don't have to clean it up. We added more trays to this area as it's always a very popular area. We've added a table with some chairs because the children like to role play here, making soup, milkshakes, cup of tea for me when I go out there. And lots of skills being developed in this area. We've had lots of discussions about our planet when the water froze. Kind of a child-led sort of mini topic evolved from that to do with animals and the planet. So there's definitely coverage of the measure and fine and gross motor skills, talking, listening, and lots of maths as well. So this is our doodle table outside. It's just a bench, and we have a colleague whose husband is a painter and decorator, so they often bring in wallpaper for us. So we just stick the cardboard down in the wallpaper and add some pens. At times we had lots of boxes handed in from a local shop, so we just let the children make on those as well. So obviously pencil control, writing, drawing, ordering numbers, number formation, and communication skills are all being developed in this area. So this is our outdoor role play area. A colleague's husband built our pallet playhouse for us, and this playhouse has been a house, a shop, a cafe, a stable, the North Pole, and lots more. We've added the old toy kitchen because we've got a new one for our indoor space, and we've added dressing up hats, some fabric, dressing up outfits. We've also added some logs and cable drums and anything else that the children have asked that we can get hold of. So the pram, dogs, maybe dog leads as well. And there's lots of imagination, storytelling and communication skills being observed and developed in this area. It's next to the big blocks and they do enjoy playing across both areas as well. So this is our numeracy palette outside. It has games, we have 3 in a row. We have an addition game with the tubes. You can put the balls down and count them into the pot. We've added stones that we painted numbers on, and other numeracy games that we use in the classroom we sometimes put out here for the children to revisit as well, including dominoes, snakes and ladders. And the children often like to make up their own games as well with some of the resources that we put out. So obviously a lot of numeracy, also turn taking and social skills are being developed out here as well. We do find that if an adult goes to this area, that more children will then use this area if we support them to use the games and take turns as well. So this is our outdoor small world area. It's just a palette with play mats that the children can put on top of the palette. We added some vehicles. We also covered some wooden blocks that the children can then make on these wooden blocks, turn them into shops, houses, farms, whatever their imagination decides, they can turn them into whatever they want. And we've added some guttering for the vehicles to go down so that children can make roads, bridges. And it's just another area where they can develop their mark making skills, their communication skills, turn taking and imagination. So this photo shows our indoor shared area. We know we are very lucky at Broomlands as we have a large indoor shared space for all 3 downstairs classes to share. And I realise that not all of you will be able to have the same space as we have. So just make the best use of the space that you have. So you can see the areas are listed there that we have. We have 2 home corners just now, shop, construction and small world area, tinker tray, sand tray, sensory tray area, which we also have Play-Doh within this area just now. We have drawing and writing areas. One of the drawing areas, writing areas has been turned into an office, and they often role play schools in the book corner. We have a Lego area and an arts and craft area. So normally this space is shared with all 3 downstairs classes being able to access it when they want, when they're not in their teaching groups. We did find when we were in our class bubbles during COVID that it was quite nice just having one class at a time using it. So we have timetabled this space once a week for each class to have a time slot on their own, and some of the children really enjoy this. So the next few slides just show you more photographs of our indoor environment. This is the indoor roleplay area. So we have a home corner. Well, we actually have two houses just now. So in one of the pictures you can see the larger home corner, and we also have a shop. So in the home corner we try and provide as many kind of real resources as we can, like real door keys, old mobile phones, Pringle tubes. I've added lots of dolls because the dolls have been popular. We've got donated lots of dolls' clothes, which has been great for the children to be able to dress the dolls, look after the babies in the role play corner. The shop, it has been a food shop in term one. We try and link it with the PT topics. So we were doing me and my town, and we made it into a food shop because we have a co-op quite near the school. Term 2 was a toy shop because we did toys in the past, and currently it's a shoe shop, although we are doing weather as our topic this term, but the shoe shop ties in with our maths and our measure. As I say, they love anything that's real and just anything you can get a hold of, that real money, purses, handbags. We've recently added a dressing up area close to the roleplay corner as well. So we have a little trolley that has a mirror on it and hooks to hang up the roleplay outfits. They use the shoes from the shoe shop as well to dress up. So lots of communication, imagination, taking on the role of characters, coin recognition, measure, number, letter formation, recognition, mark making, writing words are just some of the skills that are being developed in this area. This is the indoor construction area with a large piece of artificial grass that the children play on, as it's quite cold to sit on the linoleum. The world map on the wall has photos beside it of buildings around the world. This display has started lots of discussions and inspired some of our construction. So from a provocation on the wall, it's encouraged children to build the Eiffel Tower, the Golden Gate Bridge, zoos, farms, lots of different things. So there's lots of learning taking place through communication, building, their maths and science skills are being used here, lots of learning, and they really enjoy here. We have two trolleys put together that store all of the resources, and on the front of the boxes on the trolley we have photographs so the children know at tidy up time what goes in what box. Just makes it a bit easier for them to be able to tidy up if there's not an adult in the area at tidy up time. We also have a non-fiction bookcase in this area with books about buildings around the world, vehicles, animals, relating to the things that are in the resources that are in the boxes. On the next slide you can see the Golden Gate Bridge made by some P2s. So this is the Golden Gate Bridge that some of our P2s built when it was their turn in the shared area. They used a lot of the resources that were already in the construction area. They then went and found some tubes, some string, and they worked together, did some measuring to create this super Golden Gate Bridge. They used the photo on the wall as a provocation for them to kind of stimulate what they, to give them an idea what they wanted to build. And it then led on to a mini topic, learning a little bit more about bridges and other landmarks around the world. So next is our little tinker tray. It's just a tough tray, but great for fine motor skill development. Our P12 class has a lot of boys in it, so we were needing a kind of another engaging activity for the boys to keep busy at. So we've added a range of items in tinker tray. On the photo is sockets, and provided screwdrivers and other tools for them to use. At Halloween we had pumpkins and they had to hammer golf tees in and then get them out. So great fine motor skill development here, communication about the appliances and occupations as well of people who may use those tools. Currently we've had the little cork boards with nails and plastic shape with holes and hammers to create a design. These were a gift from Santa at the Christmas party, and then we're going to change it into electrical appliances again using the tools as the children have asked for we had a microwave, I think, in the past, or a slow cooker, so they would like some more of those things back in the tray. Next we have our sorry, I don't have a photo of the sensory tray, but we've had various things in the sensory tray. Currently we've got slime, and children are absolutely loving the slime. Teachers and auxiliary staff maybe not so much so, but you just have to wash their hands once they've used it. So with the sand, obviously it's just full of sand, and then we've got pneumacon, we've got shells, buckets, spades, spoons, forks, cones, ice cream scoops, plastic shapes, and we add seasonal items to these areas as well, like including conkers. We had plastic ink sets at Halloween, we had Christmas bubbles. So in the sensory tray that you can't see in the photo, we've had coloured rice, we've had pasta, we've had lentils, and as I say just now, we've got slime, we'll maybe add shaving foam, and also next to this area, included in our sensory area, is a Play-Doh table. When I was doing the photographs for the presentation, it wasn't out at the time, we have it back just now, and we just reintroduce it when the children ask for it, and if we've got space in the area as well, we put it out. So as long as there's always something out that ticks the kind of sensory area box. Okay, so next we have our creative area. We had painting set up when I did when I started this presentation. Just now we've changed it to junk modelling, but I would like to say within the creative area, it does take a bit of training to get the children to tidy up. Otherwise, it can just become quite messy. So if you are lucky enough to have the support of other adults, we tend to put, ask our adults to support the play going on in the kind of messiest areas. So with paintings, we've had the painting set up, and as I say, we've changed it to junk modelling just now. But the painting, we added things like potato mashers, tubes and cars to develop the printing skills. The cars obviously encourage some of the boys that maybe wouldn't have visited the art area. They are enjoying the junk modelling. It does take quite a lot of training to avoid the children to make too much mess, but just simple ways, like if the children can dispense their own paint, they can fill up their own water if you put your art area near a sink for tidying up. And if you just train them to tidy up, some of ours absolutely love using, we've got little wipes that came kind of during COVID, so they love cleaning with those. And just kind of train them well, and then it saves you having a huge mess at the end of each session. So we also have another kind of mark making area, the art table, sort of for cut and stick or drawing, and there's a book area as well, and within all these areas, the children have access to like books, colouring books, cut and stick things, clipboards, magazines, leaflets. We can change them depending on seasons as well. And there's puppets, and there's stories and story props, and another small area world as well. Just a doll's house that we got donated, and we just kind of filled it with furniture and little, or just my daughter's old little toys that she didn't want anymore. And so it's just kind of a little space here that the children enjoy using. So the next one is Lego, which was very popular. So we have 2 tough trays full of Lego, and anytime we get any money, we often try and buy more little Lego minifigures or Lego sets, because the children just absolutely love this area. They wanted somewhere to keep their models up so that they could continue to develop the models, so we got a little bookcase just cheap off Facebook, and that's where they put their models. They have to put a post-it on with their name, and then they can return to that to continue their model. We do often break them up, sounds really sad, on a Friday, but just so that the cleaner can kind of clean that area properly as well, and just so we start afresh on the next week. So obviously Lego supports fine motor development, hand-eye coordination, and also children develop their imagination and communication skills. We have some Lego books as well, again, just to encourage some of the children visiting this area to look at books and to see the print. And we try and take photos as well of them, and then maybe print these out, and because they're quite proud of their models, and show them to inspire others to make different things. Okay, so next is our classroom space. So I have one teaching table in my classroom, which you can see where the yellow seats are to the left of the classroom, and all the other tables within my room are for play. So the next, just shows you some of the resources and areas that I have set up in the classroom. So I have a numeracy trolley that the children play with and use. We use lots of these resources during group teaching time as well. These tables have a variety of small loose parts that they use to count, create. They often use them in role play as well. And then there's funky finger resources and sort of creative area where we use photo frames, and they can use a lot of the little loose parts, small loose parts in there as well. So I have a teaching table that can seat 8, and as I say, all the other tables are used for play or for resources, and then the children use them however they want to. The children can free flow between the classroom if they're not in a teaching group, and the shared area and the outdoor space, and we sometimes do free flow between all 3 classes as well, depending on what's going on within the other rooms as well. So there's lots of choice of where the children can play and which space they use. Also within the classroom, a lot of them are just mirrored and kind of on a smaller version from the shared area. So like we have a story corner within the classroom as well, a book corner, then we have kind of construction in the classroom as well with Duplo. And sometimes if, all 3 classes are using the shared area and it's quite busy, some of the children do tend to come in the classroom, or some of the quieter children do prefer to be kind of within their own classroom space rather than out in the busy shared area. We also have a little home corner as well. These areas, a lot of these areas were set up because during COVID and we couldn't always access the shared area, so we had to have other opportunities within our classroom for play. So that's how some of these areas have kind of come about, but we've found that the children are using them, so we're just keeping them because they're being used and the children are engaged and enjoying using these spaces. Okay, so that's our 3 areas, so the outdoor space, the indoor shared area and the classroom. So I'm going to move on now to talk a little bit about the role of the adult. The role of the adult. As previously mentioned, getting the environment right is not just about the space, resources, but also about the adults who support the play. There's a quote there from Realising the Ambition about facilitation. So depending on if the children are all engaged and playing away quite happily, you might just want to leave them, you might not want to interact with them. Sometimes you just need to judge what's right. So sometimes you do need to go and maybe extend the play, challenge, question them a little bit to take the learning forward. Other times you can just leave them. You just kind of learn, what's right for you and your class. I do point to in our ELC setting, and I often wish that we had the same ratio that they do, adults to children in P1. We are lucky we have some support staff at Broomlands, so when they're timetable to be with us, we often use them to support the play. And through PEF as well, we've managed to use some of that time to support some of our children to learn through play as well. And our senior leadership team have allowed us a little bit more freedom within the curriculum. So if I'm not with a teaching group, teaching my literacy or my numeracy, and then out in the shared area, in the classroom or in the outdoor space, supporting the play, observing it as well. So we use observation sheets that help us as a team of class teachers and our support staff to interact appropriately, ask relevant questions, develop the learning when appropriate, and the staff are all encouraged to take an interest in what the children are doing, and this supports our child-led learning play and the play-based learning journey that we are on as well. I've read a lot of the books, all of the books above, so Realising the Ambition, quite often refer to that. Can I Go and Play Now? A colleague gave me that. I'm halfway through. Plays the Way I've read, and I follow them on Facebook and other teaching groups as well, which are really useful. The Alistair Bryce Clegg one was what kick-started my play journey, and the Anna F. Grave Planning in the Moment with young children. A colleague gave that to me as well, so we do a lot of swapping with our books that we read as well. So I've just put up a timetable of a kind of typical day in my class. So the number of times over the years I've heard, can I go and play now? This is when I thought we were not kind of meeting the needs of our children through what I would call bums on seats tasks. So over the last few years on our journey, we have moved away from this. We do still hear those words, but it's usually when they're finished their 10-minute literacy or numeracy task activity with the teacher. So a typical day is they arrive at 8:45, excuse me, handbags, coats, wash hands, and then they do their self-registration for their lunch. Then they just go and play. They can free flow between the classroom, the outdoor space and the indoor shared area. And I will try and use this time to observe the children's play, develop their learning, and we often have another adult to support the play as well, so we can have eyes on the children inside and out. We do a quick tidy up at 10, so basically just kind of like lids on pens, move things just to make it safe. And then we wash hands, we do a story outside. We were finding the children were not having enough time to eat their snack in the 15-minute break, so we decided to stop at 10, do a story while they sit and eat their snack outside on mats with the other class, the P1-2, and then at 10:15 they can go and play with the loose parts or just run about and chat with their friends. So at 10:30 when we come back in, that's when we have our class together time, and we would do our visual timetable, the date, the weather. We often count the lunches, acknowledge birthdays and have some kind of class news. And then I would start my literacy. So I do whole class literacy introduction. Just now we're sort of having a focus on CVCs. So we do a little bit about CVCs altogether, maybe do a CVC song or a game on the smartboard. And then we would break into our, so I would keep a teaching group because I have 3 groups, ability-based groups. 2 of the groups would go and play again, free flow between outdoor, indoor space, classroom, and I would have the teaching group and then swap round so that each group is seen by the teacher. Generally just keeping them for sort of 10-15 minutes max, and then they can go and play again. So we're getting quite a lot of play within both morning slots. 12 o'clock we have a tidy up again before they go and wash their hands for lunch, and then they're in the dinner hall and then out to play for the rest of their lunch hour. After lunch, when we bring the lines back in, we go straight into our numeracy. So we might start with a numeracy song or a little numeracy game. Again, it's whole class, maybe using the smartboard or a story or something to do with numeracy. And then again, the numeracy based groups. So I'd see each group, and 10 to 15 minutes, the rest of the children are playing. And then that takes us kind of to middle of the afternoon. So from about 2:30 onwards, we might have more play, depending on how kind of settled and how engaged the children are. If I feel that they're needing to kind of tidy up and do something else, we often go out and do Daily Mile. And then about 3 o'clock, it's usually a big tidy up with all 3 classes helping, and adults helping, encouraging children. We use a song as well to get them all to help. And then towards the end of the day, we if I've taken any photographs during the day on my iPad, I would share with the children those photographs, and we have a chat about their learning, what they've been doing through their play. And then we add these to Showbay, and the parents can look at them too, and again discuss with the children what they've been doing. And then we'll pack bags, hand out any homework or pictures or junk models they've made, maybe a song or a story before home time. So that's a typical day in Primary 1. So the next part of this is taking the learning into their play. So over the years on my play journey, I've been able to more and more take the learning to them. And for example, with the shoe shop just now, I don't need to gather a group, so pull them all away from the play. If there's a group of children already at the shoe shop, I can go into the shoe shop, I can take my observation sheet into the shared area where they are, and I can go in as a customer. They could measure my foot, find a shoe that they fit, and we could talk about comparison, e.g. whose foot is longer, shorter, and then this can help me tick off some of the E's and O's and learning on my numeracy tracker. Some of the children may not choose to play in this area, so I would go to where they are. For example, if they were at construction or small world, we could measure how far cars are travelling down the tubes. The more teaching in the moment you do, the better you get at it. So as a team, we are finding ways to be able to do this much more, spending more time with the children during their play than being tied to a teaching group. We're still teaching, but just not at table. We might be like at the cafe role play area, or just we go out to them and taking the learning into their play. So if you have your environment set up to provide continuous provision successfully, then you can teach in the moment, and you will see the play-based learning happening. I did a CPD, as I said before, with ABC in November and read his book, Best Practice in the Early Years. This book, helped with this, and so did Anna F. Graves' book, Play and the Plays Away CPD I've done recently as well. So just the more you do it, the more you read about it, the better you'll get at it. So play is always part of my CPD ongoing each year, and as a team we're always looking for ways to enhance and develop and continue to support our children and their learning through play. So the next slide is, so there's so many benefits to a child's development when they learn through play. From all the reading I've done in CPD, there's just so many benefits. I've put a quote in there from Realising the Ambition that just says that through play a child develops their cognitive, social, emotional and physical capacities. Then listed below that is the aims in our play policy that we've put together at Broomlands, and I'll let you read through that list, but there's just so many positives for letting the children play. And that brings us to the end. Thank you very much for your time and good luck with play in Primary 1.